What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and welcome to What's on the Pegs. This is, of course, episode 8. Really looking forward to diving into it, as always. Really fun to talk about what we're finding and everything else that's out on the pegs. So, of course, if it's your first time checking out this video or this channel, I appreciate you checking it out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you would. And if you're not familiar with the channel, I do unboxing videos 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I unbox a variety of different figures, from McFarlane, DC Multiverse, to Mattel, WWE Elite, even Simpsons, a lot of retro figures, even dabble in a bunch of other lines, including the Super 7 Thundercats, Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, oh my gosh, so many other things. I've been recently diving into Kenner's starting lineup and Kenner Total Justice, a bunch of different random lines, and also more recently diving a little bit deeper into Star Wars The Black Series. So lots of cool stuff for pretty much any collector over on my unboxing videos. But this is What's on the Pegs, and what I do every week is kind of just show you what I'm finding. And I hit a lot of different vintage stores. I, of course, hit the regular stops of the Walmarts and Targets, etc. And just I'm always looking for different stuff. So let me know what you're finding. Drop them in the comments down below. And because I know we all hit the toys, probably a couple of times a week and just kind of see what's new and what's out there. But I was at a vintage toy store and I saw these. And I was like, oh, I got to take a picture of these because these are a little bit old school. But man, I really feel like these hold up. And if you look at the prices, this guy's got these marked relatively decently priced. And that is the McFarlane Toys Movie Maniacs line. Of course, this is the old Movie Maniacs line. We've got, of course, Terminator 2. We got the T-1000, I believe it was. We got Shaft. We got Psycho. And a few others down below that I didn't really get a good picture of. But these were excellent. The Movie Maniacs figures, I feel like were very much ahead of their time, especially in this style. And to me, they were really fun. I remember back on the days of the message boards, if you guys remember those, everyone going crazy for the Movie Maniacs. But they were a little harder to find in my area at the time. You found these a lot at comic book stores or specialty shops like Suncoast Video, I think, had them, FYE, places like that. But I always thought these were really cool, so it was kind of cool to see these. And that's, again, a big reason why I like to go to vintage toy shops. You literally never know what you're going to find, and I always think that's really cool. I also saw these, and I believe I own all of these now. But that is the Spawn figures, the retro Spawn figures. I still think these are way ahead of their time. I remember, and I've told this story before on a podcast, but I was at a birthday party. Didn't know anything about Spawn. So this is probably like 96, I would say. And a kid got a Spawn figure. Because I don't think the movie had even come out yet. He got a Spawn figure for his birthday. And these were a little creepy too, right? I mean, I think most parents were like, okay, X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman, that's all right. But like Spawn was a little bit different. It was a little bit more adult themed. These are very much toys, but they look just and these specifically don't look too bad, but some of them were pretty dark looking. And the look on his mom's face when he's like, hey, check out what I got. She's like, so it was kind of funny to see that. But it's funny when you tell a kid, hey, you can't have that, what do? They want it more. And that was kind of what happened when I saw the Spawn figures. I was like, oh, those are so cool. And I remember seeing them at like KB Toys and stuff and being like, man, I want some of these. These are awesome. But I also kind of knew, especially back in the 90s, if I tried to ask my mom, hey, can I get these? I would have probably been a hard no for the time. But, what are you going to do? Star Wars Mania, my goodness, look at all these Star Wars retro style figures, of course, with the Kenner packaging. These are, of course, some of these are the retro style, some of these are the more modern articulation, but the vintage collection. A big reason I took these is a good friend Travis, obviously, is getting more into Star Wars figures, specifically the 3 3/4 inch scale, and but not really the new ones, more the old school Power of the Force from like probably the early 2000s, late 90s. And a big reason for that is like a lot of those are not that expensive, and I was like, you know what, that's actually kind of a cool idea for a collection. You can get a lot of those figures relatively inexpensively, so why not collect them? And I think that's the cool thing about collecting some of the stuff too, is not that it's expensive, it's that it's readily available. You already know exactly what's out there. There's no surprises. Any collection, like I'm a big fan of the Big Rubber guys, that's no secret. But the thing with the Big Rubber guys is they're adding 3 or 4 basically every month. It's hard to keep up with. And it's a little challenging on the wallet at times. And as much as I love them, it's like, oh my gosh, 4 more figures for this month. Like this month alone, they are releasing Sean Mooney, Shotzi, the Genius, Lanny Poffo, and Coco Beware. $50 each. I mean, that's an expensive month. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to try to get them all because I love them. But, sometimes when you see some of these figures, and if you kind of zoom in on the picture, some of these are $20, $15. They're not crazy expensive, and these are the newer ones. If you get the vintage ones from the Power of the Force, they're even cheaper, $6, $8. A lot easier on the wallet at times. This one was really cool, Berserker. This is, of course, a comic book created by Keanu Reeves. This is a McFarlane toy figure, or McFarlane Toys, rather, and I picked this up. It's $50. As you can see the price tag there. This was not a cheap one, but Keanu Reeves is basically the inspiration for the character, and he wrote the story. And what I thought was really cool about it is it's in scale with the DC Multiverse figures. So, yeah, it's not a DC figure, but it goes along with them. And there's also a Berserker graphic novel series, which I did pick up as well. I do have that. I have not read it yet. I do want to. But I was like, man, it's really cool. And $50 is a lot, though, obviously. But I did something very interesting that I've never done before. Let me know if you guys have done this. It was available on their app, and so I ordered it along with another figure. And I did a pay in 4, so it wasn't as expensive. No wallet heat at that point. But they offered delivery. Not a shipment. They delivered it to me. Like from the store to my house for free. And I'm like, well, that was awesome. So I thought, and it was interesting is the other figure came from another store because they delivered them separately and it didn't cost any extra. Have you guys ever used that? I'm a big fan of, I like going to the store. I know my sister has that many times told me like, oh, Walmart, pickup's the way to do it. I'm like, yeah, but I want to go look at the action figures. Of course, that gets an eye roll usually, but I'm like, we're figure people. That's what we do is we like going to Walmart. We like going to Target just to see what's new sometimes. And this was kind of a case in point. This was a really cool looking figure. And I wanted to get a picture of it. Yeah, $50 is a bit much for sure, but it was cool to see for sure. It was a lot of fun. I snapped a picture of these, the gargoyles from NECA. I had high hopes for these. I don't know, they didn't quite do it for me. I did pick up Goliath way back in the day, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. But I was never a big Gargoyles fan. Like, I know it came in the time frame of Batman the Animated Series, and it certainly had elements of Batman the Animated Series. And I remember thinking, like, oh, that's so cool. That's such a fun cartoon, and I love the action figures, the Kenner ones back in the day. But it just didn't do it for me. And the fact that it's a Disney property has always kind of blown my mind. I'm like, wow, that does not seem Disney at all. But yeah, these were cool. I don't know. It just, after a while, I was just kind of like, I lost interest. I don't know. Do you guys ever do that? Where it's not that the toy line's bad or anything. You just seemingly lose interest sometimes. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think they're cool. Like I said, at some point, like as you can see from the store, there's a lot of them here. So I don't think this would be a hard line to go back and collect. NECA stuff usually sticks around for a while. And I know that Goliath warmed the pegs for a long time. And sometimes with NECA, what they'll do is they release Goliath, but a lot of the other figures didn't come for a long time. And for me, I lose interest after a while. Or I'm like, I want to collect them all, but there's one figure out. I'm like, give me more. And I know that's a weird catch-22 because some people are like, oh, they're coming too quickly, or oh, they're not coming quickly. It's hard to explain, but sometimes that definitely does happen. These are cool. As you can see, this guy's got them marked at $38, so pretty close to retail. So not crazy expensive if it's something you do want to dive into. Some good old reaction figures. Is there anything more random than a reaction Pee Wee Herman and a Michael Myers? So cool. I don't know. Like, these are interesting because obviously the articulation is incredibly limited on these, but they are fun for what they are. 3 3/4 inch style figures. I don't know if these are from Super 7 or from Funko, because I know Funko released these initially. And Funko had a bunch of them. I remember seeing like the Fight Club guys in this line and stuff. But again, and I know Hasbro did a line of Marvel figures in the scale as well. And not that long ago, actually. And what got me about them is like, man, the card is so great, but the figure itself, I think when you open it up, would be very underwhelming. That was my thought. And as a guy that likes to do loose collecting, I'm like, I don't think this is going to be for me. My personal opinion. Your mileage may vary, but getting a Pee Wee Herman figure is kind of cool. But again, if I'm going to get Pee Wee, it probably wouldn't be this. I'd probably go with the NECA figure. So, people got to do what you got to do, And like, these are fun. It was kind of a cool, like, oh, that's cool. I'll take a picture of them, but probably not something I would be diving into anytime soon. Ah, good old Star Wars. I want to take a picture of these just because these are so unique to me. The Star Wars Holiday Edition figures. We start with the Halloween Clone Trooper. Kind of got the Karate Kid vibes with the skeleton suit, kind of more glow in the dark. I've always thought these were unique because I love the packaging with the blue and purple, or I'm sorry, the purple and orange rather. And then, of course, the holiday over there with the white packaging and the red. And, obviously he's a Phase 2 clone trooper that kind of looks like a gingerbread man. This is actually what got me into Star Wars figures, Star Wars Black Series, because I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I want those. And I've wanted for a long time for Hasbro to do this with Marvel, because Funko back in the day did a line of Marvel holiday pops, and they had a Deadpool figure and he had two swords. Well, the holiday had two candy canes, and I'm like, that's amazing. Hulk had a Christmas present. I think Spider-Man had an ugly Christmas sweater on. I'm like, that's so cool. I would love to get these. And then Funko did a line for DC as well, and I think they may have done some Star Wars ones like that as well. And I'm like, man, that is such perfect decoration. Like, how cool to get that for like a holiday style figure. I wish they did it with more lines, but I love that Star Wars has done them. Oddly enough, since I started collecting Star Wars, I only have like 3 of the holiday ones, so I need to catch up on them. But they're so fun, so fun. They haven't made as many Halloween ones as Christmas or holiday ones, but I hope they do. I hope they make more Halloween and more Christmas because they're just so much fun. And I would love to see it in the other lines. I would like G.I. Joe Holiday. How cool would that be? I mean, I think it would be so much fun. So we shall see what happens. These were interesting. I took a picture of the Star Wars Unleashed figures. I don't remember these at all. But again, I wasn't big into Star Wars at this point. But we got Han Solo, we got Mace Windu, and we've got Aurra Sing. Looks like they're all $30. Han may be 40, so almost more like a posed style figure. But it's got that kind of like mid-2000s packaging. It looks like there's a Stormtrooper, a Han Solo Stormtrooper up top. I didn't actually cut out of the picture, but kind of cool. Like I said, with Star Wars, I'm kind of here and there. Every now and then I'm into them, but not all the time. But I thought these were cool, and it's one of those things when I see that, I'm like, man, I really like the packaging. I really like all the elements of this. I would like to kind of see how many of these they made. Not that I would be a collection I'd go back and get into, but it always is cool. That's what I like about vintage figures, is to see that stuff. And then I wanted to take a picture of this with all the different Marvel Legends. We got Spy Master. I believe that's Speedball. Is that right? Is that his name? A Midnight Suns Iron Man. The Marvel Legends line will always be just a home run to me. For reasons like this. Just absolute oddball characters, but so cool. And to me, I would love to see more of these kind of somewhat oddball characters in the line. I think that, of course, this is a variant Iron Man, but I could see someone be like, well, I don't need that Iron Man. But after you look at it for a little bit, you're like, wow, that's really cool. I do want that. Because it's a different color. It's a different look. Spy Master's not one you normally would expect because he's a little bit more on the random side of things. And like I said, I think his name's Speedball. No, it's not Speedball. What is it? I don't remember. But that was another thing they used to do back in the day with some of the early waves where it says Superior Foes of Spider-Man. But it doesn't list his name on the package. You have to turn it over, and it would be like 2 different characters, and it had them both listed. And I always thought that was weird. I think Speedball's in blue, so that's not Speedball. But I don't know, just not ideal packaging for him. But again, a cool figure and a bit of a deep cut. It's like, oh, that's cool. Like I love getting those deep cuts. And, I mentioned in the last video, if you've got pictures, send them my way, and I will put them in future videos. And I got this picture from a good friend, Daniel Cross, over at Toy Vomit. What a name for a store. It was the Superstars Uncovered Kurt Angle. And, of course, this is a Titantron Live type figure. Only $12, not a bad deal. But these were a really cool line, and I remember liking these a lot because they were magazine covers inspired figures. It was like the look of the figure from the magazine cover. And of course, the magazine was, mocking Wheaties with integrities, because of course Kurt Angle had his 3 eyes: intensity, integrity, and intelligence. And they kind of mimicked the Kurt Angle smile, which is great. And of course, he's got his gold medals in his hand. He's got a fire hydrant because it's a Jax figure. You got to have a weird accessory in there for no reason. But this is a fun idea, and the WWF magazine, especially way back, of course this is WWE, but way back then that was such a big deal. And Well, what's funny about this, now that I look at it, this was definitely WWF era, but the figure was certainly WWE era. Because you can see July 2000, that was definitely WWF, so they actually have modified the magazine with the WWE logo. I never noticed that until now. That's weird. So, it is cool. Probably not one I would pick up, but I would love to see stuff like this again. But at the same time, the magazine has been so long ago now. Who's to know if that would even hit people in the feels anymore? So I don't know. It is a little bit crazy to think. But that's all I got this week for What's on the Pegs. Let me know, like I said, what you're finding. If you found some cool stuff, let me know in the comments down below. Or even send me a picture at TB Toycast over on Instagram's probably the best place. And if it's something cool, I will save the picture and probably put it in a future episode. This, of course, has been episode 8. Make sure, like I said, to check my unboxing videos. I'm doing 3 every week. And once a month, I'm dropping new episodes of Tales of the Toy Box. Episode 3 should be going up sometime soon. I'm a little bit behind on it, but I do plan to drop it before the end of June, of course. And then in July will be another Tales of the Toy Box episode, which should be a lot of fun. But anyway, that is all I got. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel and What's on the Pegs. And we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.